My ministry continues to render child-related services to its clients from 2023 to date. 104 adoption cases were registered, 4 in-country adoption, 15 foster care, 79 legal custody, 12 legal guardianship, and 545 clearance certificates issued for eligible minors to travel outside the country. In conclusion, my ministry has developed a national policy for people with disabilities and a strategy plan 2023 to 2022. The National Gender Policy 2024-2034 with a strategic action plan which would be launched and popularized before the end of this year. The selection of members of the National Women's Council is being concluded, and we are planning to inaugurate it before the end of the year. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for undoubtedly the comprehensive report that you have just given the audience this evening. Honorable Minister and members of the audience here, I would not take much of your time, but you can see the rundown that she has given us. So she has done a lot at the ministry within a short period. That is why development experts say development is a marathon, it's not a sprint. Slowly but surely, Honorable Minister will be there. Congratulations and well done. Audience, do not hesitate to clap for the Honorable Minister anyway. Once again, thank you very much. We now allow the members of the team to introduce themselves and what they do at their ministries. Thank you. I'm very careful. I know it's gender issue, so we start from here, my brother. Oh, the PS from there. Okay. Thank you. PS, you're welcome. You can sit where you are. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rohia Tuka, and I am the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare. Of course, apart from the minister, I'm the boss, the one in charge, and I happen to be a female. Okay. Can I pass it on? All
right. Okay. Good evening, Honorable Minister, Gender, Children and Social Welfare, and all Honorable Ministers present, Permanent Secretaries, Directors, my regional officers, and other heads of the other directories present, of course the journalists. I say good evening to you all. My name is Filinyasi, currently overseeing the Directorate of Social Welfare under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare. As Honorable Minister highlighted, the Directorate is in charge of the welfare and the social protection of the vulnerable groups in this country. And the Directorate have so far done a lot, looking at the support we are doing, rendering to the vulnerable groups of this country. Currently, the family strengthening, which the government of this country can make it as a flagship, where we can support thousands of vulnerable groups in this country. I know with our leadership and of course with the support of the government and our development partners, we can do a lot when it comes to supporting vulnerable groups of this country. And I know together, if we are committed to the welfare of our people, we will be able to do much to support them, to make sure that we move their economic status to another level. I thank you all.
Chairperson, if you allow me, I would just like to add that I would consider it as an addendum to the minister's statement, which was well delivered. This might be an oversight, but we cannot leave the hall without mentioning that at the shelter for the children and home for the elderly in Bakote. It also houses an elementary school for the inhabitants of the shelter, as well as the vulnerable community in Bakote. This was an oversight. The school also is running, and pretty soon we will be also launching the project. It is being funded by MRC Holland. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all of you. My name is Kajali Sonko. I'm the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, responsible for technical matters. Basically, the Minister has highlighted most of the issues that we address in terms of social protection, children's protection, and also disability, and also gender and women's empowerment. But basically, my role at the Ministry is to provide technical support in terms of looking at policy directives and also mainstreaming gender into our programs and projects. As he highlighted, over the years, I think the Ministry is 5 years old now, that we could say in the past 5 years we've implemented a series of activities that relates to empowerment and mainstreaming gender into sectoral policies and programs. And we also looked at the vulnerability of the population and stem ideas from those vulnerability to develop programs to address national development challenges, and of which we anchor our programs to the recovery focused national development plan, and also the international convention that relates to CEDAW, the UN Charter for the Rights and Protection of Children, CRC, and also the AU Solemn Declaration and the Agenda 2063. So during the establishment of the ministry, as we've not requested for outside technical support, within the technical capacity of the minister, we were able to develop a strategic plan that shows the direction of which we want to be in the next 5 years. And we have covered most of the pillars that we've identified in terms of service delivery and also humanitarian support that we do. In her presentation, you realize that most of the service that we do is humanitarian support. We also intervene in such areas, not only policy, but also look at vulnerability. And during the last flood, we've supported a series of intervention to support social protection program within the combos and in the rural areas where we provided food. And during the COVID-19, also we have done a lot. So this is actually a direction that we looked at, and we reflect on them and also implement programs to address the needs of Gambians. Thank you.
If I may come in, thank you very much, PS, for reminding me. Yes, also at the shelter, because it's shelter for elderly and also children. We support from the MRC Holland Foundation. We have additional rooms built for the elderly, and very soon they will be inaugurated. And picking from where DPS Technical left, yes, after the strategy plan that we developed, we also developed the organogram for the ministry. As a ministry, it's a new ministry, and we look at the mandate, based on the mandate with the organogram, with every position having a TOR. I think we are the first government institution to have done that. And as we are speaking, we are struggling with PMO, with the recruitment. I don't envy her. She's the one who goes to PMO all the time, trying to make sure that we get additional staff as we have in the organogram. In addition to that, we also conducted the staff training need assessment, because with staff having a new mandate, it's important to organize a staff training assessment. And this was followed by the development of a training plan, which we are gradually implementing. I think of the 6 staff who have gone abroad to study, 3 have returned, and 3 are yet to come back, and there are plans to send more staff to study outside the Gambia. That notwithstanding, as a program specialist, my focus is more on training staff on programming. Staff need to have a strong grasp of programming. By that I mean project planning, implementation, project proposal development, M&E, strategic planning, research. If you have a firm grasp of that, firm grip of that, wherever you go in the world, you can implement programs without any hitches. So that's one thing also. PS is also busy at the moment trying to identify institutions in the Gambia so that we can train our staff in all of these programming areas. They're also very important as a way of strengthening the institution or capacity building for the institution. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I think we have the last person for the introduction. You can go ahead, Madam.
Good evening, everyone. All protocols duly and respectfully observed. My name is Marian Garmi Jabang, and I am the Director of Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment at the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare. And basically, we are tasked, according to the Strategic Plan 2021 to 2025, to basically redress the gender biases that undermine our social fabric on a daily basis. So we are looking at gender responsive policies and practices. We are looking at response to sexual and gender-based violence, as well as girl and women's empowerment, but most importantly, legal awareness around the laws on sexual and gender-based violence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I was just told that we have 3-minute segment of video, is it? Mr. Draven? Yeah, you can go ahead, please. Thank you.
Program implementation with focus on gender equality, the empowerment of women, protection and development of children, and social protection of all vulnerable groups.
The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare is opportune to be funded with both multilateral and bilateral support, which include also the government of the Gambia. We look at strategic needs of women, children and persons with disability, develop programs that will address to the National Development Plan and also the Sustainable Development Goals.
Technically, we are tasked to address the gender biases that undermine our social fabric on a daily basis in the Gambia. So based on our strategy plan 2021 to 2025, we have key program or strategies that we use as entry point contributing towards gender equality in the Gambia. The first being, of course, looking at gender responsive policies and practices. And the second being women and girls empowerment. And the third, of course, being how we respond to sexual and gender-based violence, as well as the legal awareness that surrounds sexual exploitation and abuse in the Gambia.
We are interested in the protection and the safeguarding of the rights of children in this country. And we conduct stakeholder capacity building. For example, the law enforcement officers. We do training for the MDFDs. We also facilitate the development of legal framework like the Children's Act, And there are policies like the minimum standard, which was revised in 2021. We also facilitated the revise of the National Child Protection Strategy and Action Plan, which is under review right now. And another plan to develop children's policy is on the way, which will start very soon. And we also had development of the situational analysis, of course, to gauge the situation of children, their vulnerability level in this country, which was done in 2021 and is completed, which will be used, for program and evidence-based policies and programming in this country, and of course was spearheaded by the Directorate of Children's Affairs.
The Directorate of Social Welfare is responsible when it comes to providing welfare services to the most vulnerable groups in the country, which of course include women, children, persons with disabilities, prison inmates, destitutes, and the list goes on. Looking at our interventions, we've been providing social protection services in the country. Apart from that, we've also been supporting vulnerable individuals through our different interventions, so that their vulnerability can be reduced and that they build resilience.
The Directorate of Policy Development and Strategic Planning helps the ministry to contribute to the National Development Blueprint, such as the Recovery Focus National Development Plan 2022 to 2027, that is the NDP, by making sure that the ministry's programs and activities are aligned to the specific pillars of the NDP. For example, as a ministry, we are more focused on Pillar 6 of the National Development Plan.
I would like to take this opportunity to also reaffirm our commitment in terms of sustaining the gains that we have made since 2019, and of course reaffirm our commitment into sustaining the strategic vision of which we want to reach by 2030, because we are accelerating our effort in terms of getting to meeting the sustainable development goals and also the recovery focus national development plan.
From our ministry, we believe that with concerted efforts, we can strive to create an inclusive and equitable society that upholds the dignity and well-being of all Gambian citizens, irrespective of race, gender, ethnicity, physical ability, religion, and social status.
This is brought to you by the Ministry of Information as part of its public consultation and popularization of the government agenda initiatives.
Thank you, Mr. Aruna Drame and team. Thank you, that is very comprehensive, your Honorable Minister and your team also from your ministry. Now we open the floor for questions and answers. Before we allow the audience, Honorable Minister, I will start from myself. I think I have few things here that are very common questions from the public. Any of you can take up to respond. That is, what is the difference between the gender equity, gender equality, and women's empowerment? People sometimes, I think, tend to confuse this thing, but just hold on, I still have another one. Why is it important to take gender concerns into account in programs and implementations? I'm lumping up. I know even if I don't ask these questions, obviously, I say, is gender equality important for men? The floor is yours. We give you 3 to 4 minutes, then the floor is open. Any of you, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If you don't mind, I can repeat anyone that you want. No. Thank you.
Okay. So basically, if you look at gender equality and gender equity, people tend to take it as synonyms, but in reality, there is a difference in the sense that when you look at equality, equality is more of the end goal. What we want to achieve is gender equality. But equity is the process that you go through to achieve that gender equality. So in taking this into consideration, for instance, if you have high school enrollment of 75% boys, for instance, and you want to bring some sort of gender equality in terms of high school education, then you have to see how you can come up with, we used to have it here, all girls scholarship, to ensure that there's equity in the process to achieve that equality in the education. So the end goal, again, is gender equality, and the process of how you get to that is the gender equity. And that's allowed mostly when it comes to humanitarian interventions, where women are giving more priority over men. So that's a gender-specific intervention, which is accepted, as well as in education. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any Honorable Minister, you have? The next one is, why is it important to take gender concern into account in program design and implementation?
Thank you very much. This is very important because when we talk about gender, we're looking at men and women in different circumstances. And if you do a program, if the gender program, without taking into consideration the use of men and women, say if your program is gender blind, you tend to address only the concerns of men. But if you take gender consideration into context when designing the program, or even at the conceptualization stage, you make organizations a gender-sensitive document. It's difficult to achieve your objectives. But then, in time, we can't leave women behind. Women have to be on board at all levels of program design and implementation. That way, we can achieve the sustained socio-economic development goals that we have set for ourselves in the NDP. This is the reason why all over the world now, people make sure that whatever they develop, it is gender sensitive. By that I mean, it takes on board the needs of both men and women. So we have policies which are gender sensitive. Gender blind policy, we are trying to run away from in this day and time, because we want to make sure that in our NDP, we achieve all the goals and objectives set for ourselves. We can only achieve them if we take on board the concerns of women and men, which are different at all levels. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. That's really comprehensive. Yes, please.
Yes, if I may add
Yes.
to that, it is for this very reason that we're coming up with a gender mainstreaming strategy, because having a gender policy is not enough. With this strategy, the perspective of both genders are considered in either program development, budget formulation, whatever initiatives we take up as a sector. If in the absence of mainstreaming gender into it, in the absence of mainstreaming gender in whatever we are going to do, we are bound to face very difficult situations or challenges in the long run. And for this reason, we are coming up with a strategy very soon. I'm sure you'll be receiving our paper in a very short time.
No problem. I hope to see it. Thank you very much, PS. I have just been brought, my attention has been brought to that, in fact, if you wish to speak any local language, both Mandinka, Wolof, and Fula also, you can go ahead. I'm sure Mr. Sonko will help us in that. You can go ahead, PS, if you have, yes, please.
The question that you asked, a very interesting one, about men, should gender be men's?
Well, is gender equality important for men? Obviously.
I would love to answer that question.
Yes, you can say it in
everybody knows that. The biggest problem we have is that we live in a patriarchal society, very patriarchal. So long as we are unable to treat the men, then our being a ministry coming into existence will be useless. Because men and women, the issue of equality and equity, the problem we have in it is because there is a big misconception when it comes to the understanding of what equality is all about. Most men will conceive equality as a 50-50 thing. Whatever men can do, women can do. When it goes beyond that, the Director of Gender has just explained that. Even at the level of the ministries, all sectors, the problem that we face now is breaking that diffusing that mentality. So I believe the patriarchal system is the problem, and we must do something about it.
Thank you. Anyone in the local languages? If you want to maybe explain that. Wolof, Mandinka, Fula.
Yo, assalamu alaikum bading lamoy ladu. Be OIC Conference Center, the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, la lungalem biti Bantaba. Ika fumi mansa kundala Bantaba. Bengalam mi alon ko ministry liantanala le kala do ko itandi banko dingol ma. Kapino ministry ni stato ni saintema wala serum ni nyinantema muneketa. Ando woko no fanam nyinin karol sosoto no karola mi alon ko ntoluma min long isel londa. Woko no kuma ka chal ni fota janga akumuyata bake pour sa 5 ans mandika kangoto. Do nene bi janne no fanan pareta o fanan sa kumande fono anin do mi alon ko tundol bunkolu anin kabilolu bama. Minister mi yitandi kabirin yin ministry lota woni sain tema bari nyinin karo nata ka fu mo le nga seniyande munam gender equity and empowerment yana nyinu mu sartol timi yalan ko kado ko kala ni ko equity dama ka falo wala fairness ni ko equity dawda la word synonymous word is fairness. You have to be fair in providing services. Ni be fon kala don trimo na dunga kon equality nka folo ko access, equal access. From min sorota ni alon ko yalla ndi tabulo kono momo bulo se malano ni be karam mo lo lay salon ko min nyanta tala je nyanta futalama keni muso anin lanjuruto because ni be mo folo ni access man soto je problem mo wana ka wofana jube na development intervention empowerment wo nka min fodron na empowerment man dang musol damma jama mulka fale ko ni ko women's bureau of minister of gender ndol kan nyati lim musul damal hani empowerment is across the board musul lamu dindingol lamu bayol lamu minister abe fo janna mi yalon kon ke empower wala mu ibe situation on min to bi jandin sanjinani nge bondi wol yetarno situation kuto so man sakunda la sartolem ni yalon ko fo adama de momo be balu kan jimban kon kan iman nyanna tar la balun kolen kono so wala funga mo bele empower wala na nyim financial assistance ul be kana nyim family strengthening program wa bebe empowerment lako and access to economic empowerment so dia mo janda be siala bake lafto do mon dum nyam basla inshallah.
Thank you, that's really clear, Mr. Sonko. Honorable Minister and the rest of the team members, we now open the floor for the audience. Gender balance. 50-50, a correction, 50 men, 50 women. Any corrections from the floor, please? Okay. I'm starting with the gentleman over there.
Okay,
please introduce yourself, sir.
Okay, jërëjëf maa ngi tudd Amath Kebe jóge ko Paradise ñu jaajëfal ministre bi ci ñëw bi nga xam ne ñëw na ko fii am naa ñaari laajte benn bi dina jëm ci ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk tout tànk yi mooy xale yi gis neen ñu bari ñoo xam ne dañ la nekk ci tali bi ñenn ñi di yelwaan ñenn ñi gis leen ci time boo xam ne kat nekkul time pour ñu nekk ci mbedd mi ban taxawaay la ci jëwriñ gi am pour make sure kat xale yooyu yi dañuy dem school wala ñu toog ci kër yi beneen bi it dana dem ci ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk waaye laago yi gis neen jamono ji tabax yi bari na te ñëpp taax leen day tabax lan moo si nekk taxawaay jëwriñ gi kat pour ñu gis ne tabax yooyu ñuy tabax ñii ni di waay laago yi dana si mën am accès ndax dañ gis lu bari problème na ci waay laago yi pour ñu mën am accès ci yenn place jërëjëf.
Thank you. You have lady there. Oh, hold on. I am very careful here. There is a lady here. before I'm sued. What?
Hello, good evening. I'm Aissatou Diop Sonko, and I'm going to ask my question in Mandinka. Nanjinen karo mumenti kajale society kono gender equality, equity, aning musola sembantuya molka mix bakele. Sako intabota background letom yalanko it was not conventional education. And Jama Beje need amutarek about women empowerment. The first thing they talk about is mbe musule sembentu yendi kambake ke excellent kewalkan. That's number one. Number two, equity movement musul sulata minna tilingo. I'm coming for, I will take example here, no offense. You cannot be equal among even two women. But equity is something you can maintain. But in Kaja Jane, difference between that equality and equity, na bungol kono, na futu bungol kono, mbo jama malong, andu mol kaja le ko dal ko dino ibole kelekang, katu dino ko kewol lebe marari musona, but saying society betaka nyamin ka musole sarendi kewol kang. So that's number one question. Question number two, kaja le ato lale ministry, and congratulations. Minister and your team, you are doing a very tremendous job. But that's just like, let's say it's a suggestion. Because alkado ko ke musul miye, anin dindingol miye, jama beje nata realize ko, dol beje fang imala programol dol long. Of late, ntamantara njambake, but bilin nata nang every week, nkatra lengata marseto, Tipagaras, other areas, ni musul kasi kacha, ni kakuma jama kachano. So amanda wala fanang, time to time, let's say mostly, ninke makatale, and afan ni musul kasile kakacha, ila batakuulu, ila kujama bikiri nyanta milona, and alla doku nyimalbe minna fanang, ngajele da ila lundul da satajele. So malong falsa programul kino, time to time, it could be periodic, maybe radio station also, or TV, and in local languages, because Gambia, let's face it, muso jamal bimbe bata kono science, muso jamal mi alon ko sulate la nyantola, and ila nyantol mandila, imu model to milalon ko ila karamo manjamfa. So as a keno angale kamo kafo, it will talon. Albedo kunyimal milal kafinti, alkata outside, I'll be a represent laje, but even more represent laje atamari malon fang itata I represent Minna. So watu da kalafila doku kolayandila. Number three, last, please forgive me, sexual violence. Nkagala family to, even within the family, you can see an uncle violating a niece. You understand? Or a minor, like as young as a year old or 2 years old. At the end of the day, the family will decide to just brush everything under the carpet. As a ministry, milialon ko dinungol batol lel koto ning a kesul ka report le yeta fo to a certain extent ya withdraw family yake badim boti barin ka jele ko family lake badim boti wumatina violence minketa violation of minketa amari manyana londula silola so follow si fal keta family lote ko ba kala badim fala ministry alka fenneta albe wulmari albe tindila silo minna lafta wonnon I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. The gentleman behind, then we have the response from the team. Thank you. Just make your questions very short.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Omar Fay. I work for the State TV, GRCS. I just have a question that I would like to throw maybe to the Honorable Minister or anyone who is working under the Ministry of Gender. That is the issue of rape cases. Because in 2017 to 2021, the Ministry of Interior reported at least over 242 rape cases, and out of which only 68% were able to reach the High Court for perpetrators to be held to book. Is your ministry concerned about these issues of rape case that we normally hear, most especially that are perpetrated to children who are, underage? And how does your ministry intend to the issue that this lady just mentioned when it happens on family level? Because most of the time, you would realize it is mostly brushed under the carpet because maybe one or two individuals is concerned and they don't want the matter to go forward. How do you look into these issues to make sure that at least these children are also
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, you will respond. Yeah, so please.
Thank you very much. I think I want to start with the question raised by the gentleman and then come to Aissatou Youp regarding the rape cases of gender-based violence. We are aware that most of the cases happen at family level, at intimate family level, intimate partner level. And sometimes it happens within the family. So when cases are reported to the police, many times they are not reported. And if they are reported, before the cases reach a point of prosecution, they are withdrawn by family members. I know there are a lot of frustrations at the courts because the cases are many, and as a result, most families will withdraw the cases before prosecution stage is reached. This is the reason why the ministry with funding for UNFPA, we are coming up with special course on sexual and gender-based violence. Hopefully, before the end of December, you will integrate this course. We will start with Greater Banjul area, and based on lessons learned, we will scale up. We want to make sure that cases don't stay long in the courts, especially that has to do with gender-based violence or rape cases. And again, sometimes if it stays too long, the victims no longer want to appear in court. So that's the reason why we want to make sure that justice is done at the right time. So we are coming up with special course on sexual and gender-based violence, which will address only such cases, and then there will not be any more delay of cases in the courts regarding gender-based violence, which of course includes rape. We are very much aware of the issues. This is the reason why we have taken up this with the UNFPA. We are working closely with the Ministry of Justice and the Solicitor General and the Minister of Justice and Justice UNFPA and Office of the Chief Justice. Yeah, we are working together with them. And once the building is identified, I think we've identified the building already, and it will be refurbished and fully equipped, then the judges will be identified who will be sitting there to take such cases. And we are also intending to use the same building for cases against children. It will also serve as the children's court. And as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be on a pilot. Based on lessons learned, we'll scale up and make sure that we have such a court in every region of the Gambia so that there will not be delay in addressing cases of gender-based violence or rape. Okay, my dear, yes, as I think before, family kono to wonder bank and do hakile. And naked drone, ikafalo he haniko alinkana fong wanyari, ikakudindi wale nyama. But let's only along ko Gambia loi le bija. Loi de bija, the Domestic Violence Act. Do bija, our Sexual Offences Act. It will be nearly in November 2013. Lualem. You way boy can do here. You luale so. And then Kajico is some luan at Lua. But you can formally ko. Min long in the Alco Lua kid in there, put many boy can do here. You better walk, ya booty lemon, or Yala Dinia Taba, Air Funical Taba, Luali Bijane, and near some court. Police, kill you on a quarterly. And the sign of Hamuniko, you can do who cases are court. By the at a meal, Carifla drone, the courtroom laugh fire, prove Kusival Damadama. And many Mujamu court, and cases can be court back here, so we can force state here the hair. But in the fact, I was sign at a meal. Carifla drone, the court could my lella, we prove them Madam Male. Make a booty and make a baby okay, big and look. So Alcana Silla, at a meal new cases will be nally. Niatin akumayata kamisi londi weto le molin musul lak wadam mala ani dindiwol ko ni ma sotono tenni ko mi foten dinu ata sotono wala oto me ma sokna tendula an president ba me ministry londi ka jeko musul lak dindi la ko ani laju tulu ani mi nan ko bo me ikoben wital uri afaye okay dafa amna ko fi affaire yi xalé nek ci béré di jaay bobu nako baye fili waye nawal ci affaire yi ni ñoo sampa because nit yu bari duñ ne xalaté amna ñoo xamné di mëna ex ci dégg yele comme ita waye na la wax ne government ñi ci baye xel so ñi nga ñëw ite programme bo xamné ne boy sampa bo xamné dal dafa nek étage fa mu am fu ñi ñoo doxal seen boppa fu ñu mëna jaar bu bàyyi xel léegi sax ni bari am nañ ko ak banque yi University of the Gambia campus bu esi dafa fii Farato last year man de àndoon naa Ministry of Higher Education ñu inspect bu loolu moo fi woon pour gis ne daal am na rams ak tam lift waaye fortunately di am na rek rams waaye amul lift waaye maintenant show ne ñu yokk rams yi ak teg si tamit ñi nga xam ne dañ nekk si pousse si wheelchair ñu mën a ñoo dugg ak yi ne mën a ñu liggéey dugg nekkul benn bu ko jëm dañu ko ci wheelchair wala ki dañu war a yaatu so loolu tam recommend naa ko so this same mandate ak moom foofu gis nañ la ñu ko implement so inshallah li ñu ci bàyyi xel bu baax a baax because programme bu nekk is all inclusive leaving no one behind ni ku nekk sawarwaay la da nga am right pour mun a foo bugg a yéeg because fii Gambia nga nekk te Gambia day right fii wane day signé human rights conventions kon dañu war a jàppale le forme ni nekk ku nekk dafa forme ni nekk so li ko desi am na solo trop waaye ñu ci def ay gestu doon nañ ko dégg nga so xam naa du yàgga léegi bari léegi samp sa office yi ak marché yi ne mission ne am na ram o am na lift pour ñi nga xam ne mu ñoo dox seen tànk yi ba ci kaw jërëjëf beneen question bi suma beneen staff bi moom na ko tontu.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the guy who asked the question. First, the Mahala Manyamba to the Honorable Minister in regards to story building. Because right now, I'm in the Disability Act 2021. That Disability Act, kuneka di sample legi ni lumoy def moy bala mo sampa dafa consult ñun I think at works department pour ñu xamné all those new ones dafa wara am either persons with disability dafa wara am access to the either nga def ram or nga am lifter, so that should be that consultation, yeah. And if possible we need to see that enforcement is part of it in the act. So but for you start the engagement, that sensitization for you niti hamne there's a law pro so buge sampa story building linga wara def. Wow, because munen drag niti they put them you blame court. So that enforcement part first for you okay. So okay. Enjoy. Okay. Okay, all right. So Sainten assessment mapping dole kenu through the support from Perfect Project. Kajube ni madrasa ni orphanage sol milbe jom bankoga pour ngay long ibe dame. Because wobe mako lale na intervention auto pour ka long jimani le sulata ñu demaro la bake. So walatina because nga lon ni fa go funden ka jele di nol be silo kan ibe daniro la but ni na defena ilwa bu ko jube mi di nol sembentuya chilas at 2005 aka fole ko dinno amanya na ifi wulula dandan na kata sada danola moreover ya bula aita kuke mi alonko asanjo mata so wo be wululal fana responsibility baso de jele because dinno ala nyanto la ta karagola amanke pour aita sada danola ta danola wala do ko ke pour kana ita wulula domorendi wala tina abe kumbayala wululalu ntolu be pour nga blodi nyola nga dinno dema pour kana tara silo kan ida daniro wala kuke mi alon ko anilwa amanta so fongam bulodi yola nga nyoma koy ka jube ko dinno ngule sama alfa nama deda bi sama ate kala alfa mbe laftala minna because fana laftala sini sama alfa ñu lo ye banko doku mbe laftala ñam pour na sini soma alfa la so but natare bi e man deda ne bula wo ñam sini sama problème bina hani bu ni ba lola foy foundation beto sodala ni man foundation beto sodala rek asa boy nole tumo la so wala na kumayata mbengal no nyoka nga dinwol mako jamal le biye miya lonko ntol wulu lalo nyanta kal na dinwole but mbuka keno kalon ha bulole man kobe so wala tinna ministry fana anata ka won sifal fana ke sembentu yale miya lonko ila wulu lal mi blog beben koben nyanta dara school do nke de male ka jube ko preta school do o bebe kere mbe minki ka ni madrasa al fana do nke engage ko war sodo da amma metri ni do fana sodo da brika ma tunnola yala ñun dinol be ñu karantal minto ye be ko mandi nanne kale karande ka dinol la ñanto yitindi la mi ñanta kele la ntol be la lodu la ñanta mintala yo be kela nga projet do fana sono bet projet do fana be registration ke kala ñi o fana jesol mil be ñu banko ka make sure that ka long ñu o fana di min jelle be to so bala no kita won de malale ningal chairperson system information management system os londi mbalo ngale dinol be dunkral minto so koko kete la fana o fana abe mako la pour ngalo kete ñum dinkiral minto because ni yalla fana regional to fana na dokulal bigele regional region nga dokulal so bala regional region
thank you. I think we let's throw this thing back to the audience again. Maybe there are a lot of questions that are coming.
So
yes.
maybe say that no kudos to the Pruka Union Karo for that. It's a Union Karo.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Musul bi marché won to and malum fanko ministre lo de professeur ya naka do ko meke to nyalem akumere info baake ndifa kata marché to baake le and musul projet be je ne man finti banta because ni ka kacale nak li yalla marché kono so fancy mo contact ministre contact ngaji ko problem kanata nyaato so but you may ka program on radio television mbo kele. Thank you very much for advising. Minale we do no program mo isa kana television to live mo ka chandi na ministre na doku sa na mo bulay telephone ke kany karo ke ani sidi wala so don le ma fala nyaadi le ko kuma ta bakele so at mele mina sta the PS ma ministre ngoki na program mo kono yo flanga ngoy fa ba ko musul sembentu ya ko kuma ta bakele ko ne ajibe musul ke man kanya Gambia an Gambia na ba ko jamal musul be kele musul nyaatule ni fore ajibe wane ko musul ko fore ya ko musul nyaadare bala ko fore ya sem musul te musul le kon ban ni musul sembentu ya ay fesoto akala suko la flo bi jana ta banta oto ni ko musul den ya ko kuma balti ba ni musul sembentu ya ka be flo mi na wane demo be suko demo kilo ta suko ni no la karamo ni ya jata kende ya ma ko ni sembentu ya kewol kele hani mo fode ko yesementu ya sa isi ko bodi nyola e nyo ma ko ko kama andu mo fana be kirinde ni mo sebentu ya don akala mun ko le topoto ayake fana ma ko so kamala ngame kelo yenta yo ka fundul ma fam ni be muso le sebentu ya mi sa tina banko stano nyaato ko laftala nyame baraka baki
Kajali, maybe you can translate this in local language. In addition to that, we are coming up with a communication strategy, which we have advanced in the development. It has not met the minister's desk, and very soon we'll be consulting with sharing it with the Ministry of Information to also feed into the document. And I believe once that is developed, we'll embark on the programs that have been specified. And that's a means of reaching out to the public on the programs that we are currently doing and the projects that we intend to do as well.
Thank you. Just one thing, just a follow-up. You know, you're talking about women, but sometimes in this society also, when you go to the market, how do you change people's concept? Oh, yeah, when you go to the market, people say, this one is a policeman, this is helping. Why?
Okay, ngalon don ko kilo kata marché auto mi kala musul ma koy mon ko ma ba ki buña mon kala marché to bakela am kilo ni kabe marché auto mon ki ko ma ki buña ani bayi la fulan ko ani mo ko ba ilo sama nos de wato non dingon ki sama nos hein ni ki wala nos do mo sey rango join ngi wala ta state ita no so nyinje ngak mo ka ko kewlu man patient de mo batun do no so sul bula ta state no so nyinje do ni no leta ni sita so re ke iki mo yele ko he ndata nos le wide ma meje ko kamala kelo fana include no yiki dingon sama nos so mo fana include chane ano hana sa kelo kata nos ni fo do musul ko sey la no ya alna ite na yedi no ji tomato do wetamba ayta so kisi fa ke include le buga fa ke furu le butte wo ko kablo bakele han kablo amole ko mi do ko si wole bakele iba fa do le programme do na kabilo ba ma initiative wo programme mo nying nka musolo sementu yale ka jeko musolo sasa ila bangoto ngoto andi no la bango jinga sa yidlu so pour wait la nyame ko programme programme do be is a package is a meal motivation deben to nka kiwol fana krandile kay musolo makoy iba le tata wo satal ko no sai nga kuma skiyanne satata nim fula sai ani wata jara la mudala mulla satal ko no krandine penko wana ki pesa niki muso bulo mutare kele kan dino sika isa mai ide pe kuye pesa ayo so kuli mulle bile falen kan sai do ino mandi ani men kuma wala indu do ay mulle kacha mulle kacha ye kunindi so bari boke kan sai atna sai mo yaw kunin kan jabbake kele kan dino sai ki sama nos o be ki kan ne ke fa kara marso do fon be ki
thank you honorable minister, thank you very much. We still leave the floor now. Well, I'm seeing a lot of hands. PS Ami is there.
Thank you.
Ministry of Information, thank you.
SC, Honorable Minister of Gender, I must begin by thanking you for that detailed presentation on your planned activities and some of your achievements. We are really grateful. My contribution to the community. It can be la angale kamula. Ya follow ko alla ministry alkade marodi na kebalale. So lafta kalong alkan mun demar le dila anin fana mi lafta wo demar wala ibe sira jamara tala pour ka wo demar soto
thank you
lafta wo dam ali wo wokele sen yande moli. I would also want your peers wo fana mol ma ko ya sen yande moli suwa kamala soda isa yende suwa kam mo lal fana salong inka demaro min di kebali ani min laftare be sira jamare tara ani bayol fanan yo fanan fo jana kalka bayol makoyle jama bi be sul ko be soleng makoyro la bare malom ka bi kirini ani ni laftare fanan e be ni sira jamare tala nasa mul makola ya senende mule. PS, you should clear that in Wolof. Please inform us clearly as to how what can access those support.
Thank you. There is another gentleman behind. Okay. You look like the men are dominating.
Existing protocols. I want to say good evening to everyone here. My name is Ifechukwu Emmanuel Achebe from the UTG School of Medicine and Allied Health Science. So I want to applaud the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare for their good work done in the Gambia. And you mentioned the buildings and infrastructures you've built for women to help them in smoking their fish and the products they get from the fishing activities. So over the years, we've experienced patients and people report to the hospitals with hypersensitivity reactions and also complaints of allergies after they have consumed substances or produce like fish. And it has come to our notice that these women, after they've gotten their produce, use harsh substances to help preserve these products. So even in your vein as the Ministry of Gender and Children and Social Welfare, it is your responsibility to look out for our health because it's our welfare and it's your responsibility. So I want to know what policies and what regulations are in place for these women that are getting this produce, because it is also their responsibility to help preserve their produce in order for them not to spoil, so they'll be able to get their earning from them.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
So I want you to know,
thank you very much.
To elaborate as to what policies are there to help them.
Time is not on our side, Mr. Uchuku. Somebody is in front row. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. I am Suleiman Kamara, the Cybersecurity Advisor to the President. Honorable Minister, thank you very much. I'll back and I come back. That is so you are doing exceptionally well. Not PS the communication strategy develop. Left earlier, make sure any WhatsApp KJ, Alcana K TV drone, because we had a sample na muskebalo ikanyi WhatsApp wala mwende. So albedo kukenda bala because na family alkafu orange center will better at the back and pro modi or long beminto mafan. Because natanga do work in bank come back. If a doku better at the back, I'm very impressed. And I'm PS name Deputy Minister Sonko. I'm at the back of your mind. WhatsApp, Molka will sign back. Molka TV, but between name message WhatsApp, Katala course. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara. Someone just behind who? Any other? Gender balance? None? Okay, now, Honorable Minister, I will leave the floor. Yes, short answers. Time is against us. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You have put in a use if a draft, tackling the marble until we work in partnership. Nimu information and Nimu for Yajube, you find out Mirology, no big of Numa. So the strategy inside implement as a more bena fan yame. Because after new social yamendo, will come my yata. What's the problem? Mamendo, Kanawari, Abarakabaki, mineral. You are PS information. You keep balu de maro. Tunyala follow the social register. Bo use carne. Nana kilo bakang. Jibo se kisikisiro dohi. Ka dumul kan ka jibe mune bekiring. Jumalem bayolti. Jumal kenyon banta. Jumalem ki balti. Jumalem mune minero Israel de marola. So wakati belarinne. You nakodo you do benata from EU $1 million tansaba wo social register ko le use puka wo mulu kete no kete nyini yo binga kumasi na mu mena mu ke ba ko to le muti mi sagita wala alin santola mu ke wonu nga wala identify ngala mo nyal be jede ba ke lulu ngala identify yo amene ko bayol le muti ke lulu alin nani ina yalon ko la jutule muti o ke lulu alin lulu nem ni yalon ko musolle be man di mayama idam ma fana ke lulu alin fula na ko commencé wala la yo karo kari la su dikilin ne ban ka kafu fa kan no singa dara wuli na no di mari la yo bari nga yene fo iyo ko do yatale kadu da su dikilin yo di mola abi muso la yo bakil yo wala nga kafu ay wuli na niti ay ismano sanje iko to fala suru ay hajo dori boy fonya la ko ni ngata mun da nyama fo ni December karo ni na ningi sanga banta sanna lay wala fa la nyer wona men mo mani yaro la ko nganta ya ngaji ko ngata mun ay nyama yi kontan bo be kontan sai alam ma be ko la fanye sai sa ke kro ka gasu lulu ko be betala so sai o kebal me ala ko ibe so sa da yista ko bol use kan bari fanan ni men fanamanta ni so sa da yista nan na ofsor kada ni ko do nyi ile de pasodi mas ko dafa kako do dile pro di masifal so it's part of the family strengthening program ni mul na don ofsor ngalo isa fek ngata ngi sala digrale je ngi jube ngaji ko nyi so de ma rolale ni so so bel na ko bari go be kala muso ko na ko dolti de pasolti woni iwita bankleya so ni mo do mena ke ba ko to ma da fa ko ina de warbe to yale mamari makoyla the gentleman from the University of the Gambia, yes, he spoke about we artificial link site who use I think it's an insecticide or whatever chemical sniper. It was a particular year that they used it. It was about 2 years ago. Okay, these are women artificial link sites, and then we have discouraged them against the use. We started work with the women in 2020, and we did an assessment and discovered that artificial link sites, they have no water. They purchase water from outside and it's very expensive. So we started with drilling boreholes for them. The funding is coming from World Food Program. We did boreholes. If you go now to Tanje, Brufut and Gunjur, you see standpipes all over the place. It's through our project. Yes, I mean the fish landing site. So we have these boreholes, and now there are starters all over, and there are also solar lights. And we went further because we discovered that, our assessment, they were using dilapidated smoke houses. The smoke coming inside this smoke house, that's not healthy. They were inhaling the smoke, that wasn't good. And they had children on their backs as well while they were doing that. So we condemned that, and we started building state-of-the-art smoke houses, where all the chimneys, all the smoke goes out. In fact, you also have stores within the smokehouse where you can change your clothes, you smoke your fish smoke-free from smoke coming inside, and then afterwards you can go and have a bath and wear your clothes again. We also build them bathrooms and toilets. For the store, yes, we also build them stores. For the cold storage, we started with a cool tin in Gunjur, in Brufut. So we are looking at it on a pilot. Based on lessons learned, we'll scale up and get more of them in all of the sites. If all of this work that we have done, if you see we selected 3 sites, because it's on a pilot, based on lessons learned, we look for more funding and scale up in other parts of the country. Even for WFP, it's a pilot. And I remember their team came from the regional office in Senegal at one point, and they were like, Gambia is going to be used as an example. If this works here, we'll make sure that we do it in other parts of West Africa as well. And we are educating the women on the dangers of using the sniper or any other chemical. And that's why we are building them the cool tin, where once they have smoked the fish, they can keep it in the cold storage facility before they go to the market. And again, when a catch comes at the middle of the night, they fear spoilage. They can also keep the fish in the cool tin, where it will be kept cool and fresh until in the morning, and then they can smoke. So we are doing something because health is also our concern.
Thank
we are
you.
concerned about the health of everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that explanation. I have seen some people rushing coming in. Do you have anything? Late comers. Don't worry, I'm joking. Anyone behind? Yes, please. Just a quick one. We have, time is not against, it's not on our side. Thank you, sir.
I will actually speak in Wolof. My name is Modlamin Jan, my University of the Gambia. So, suma laaj mi maa ko jëmale si mbirum yarum xale yi parce que xam nañ ne loi yi ñu am si àdduna bi yëpp li ñuy wax mooy xale kenn waru koo dóor li nga xam ne ñëpp nangu nañ ko waaye nag ñun bàyyi nañ xel ne ñun bi ñuy màgg suñu waajur dañu daan dóor dañu xupp tax ba nga xamante ne ni yar bi nga xam ne moo nekk si ñun ñu mun koo am waaye seetlu nañ ne xale yi léegi pour mag sax wax ak ñoom mag sax du ñemee wax ak ñoom parce que xam nañ ne xale boo si jéemee waxal mu tontu la tontu boo xam ne du la neex léegi maa ngi bëgg a laaj ministre bi yan jéego la ñuy jël si li nga xamante ni mooy mbirum yarum xale yi ba nga xamante dinañ train wala dinañ jàngal waajur yi ba nga xamante dinañ mën a yar xale yi te duñ si boole dóor boo xam ne dina lor xale yi.
Thank you. Thank you. Quick one from the audience. Oh, okay. Thank you.
I want to say a very big thank you to the minister and her team for taking us through your achievements. And I have a question. I want to ask, what policies and programs do you have to encourage women in the area of education and in the area of politics to take part in politics, so that they can be empowered, so that we can achieve the gender equity that we are trying to advocate for. Thank you. My name is Elizabeth Sambu from the University of the Gambia.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We now leave it to Honorable Minister and her team, then we close the program. Honorable Minister, any? Yeah. Who? Oh, okay. Yeah. Just give him 2 minutes. 1 minute.
All right. Good evening, Honorable Minister, and the representatives present here. My name is Nyanin Kamanja, the current president of the University of the Gambia Students' Union. The sociology of our society believes that we live in a heteropatriarchal society. That means it's a male dominant, as the permanent secretary alluded here. So what is your ministry doing in ensuring that, to cement the all existing gaps in having an equal society for both genders?
My question is double-edged sword questions, and the second one is a recommendations. In terms of inclusivity, for there to be development, people from all sectors of life must be included, including the person living with disability, visually impaired too. So my recommendation will be, since the ministry is at infant stage, which you are really doing a great job, I will encourage, for you to advocate for institutions, to create a conducive environment for persons living with disability. And the last one, your ministry to at least promote mobility issue in terms of ramp, especially if a disabled person wants to visit your office, will want to climb stairs in order to reach
Thank you.
So that is a recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Sonko,
yes.
1 minute.
Yeah, with
Thank you.
regards to political participation of women, I think when you look at the 2020 constitution, the draft constitution, that has been reviewed, and we are now looking at the 2024. We have provisions for affirmative action. This is for the first entry point. We wanted reserved seats in the National Assembly as an affirmative action, which would bring women out to be able to be identified. But looking at the domain in terms of the playing field, the political playing field, there is no law that denies women to vie for position or to participate in election. But of course, through the advocacy and projects that we implemented over the years, we realized that in the local council we have an increment. Now you can talk of almost 16 women who are councillors. And before we used to have more than 10% in the National Assembly and more than 25% in the cabinet. So it's a process. With this affirmative action, it's just a temporal measure that we will want to mainstream in the electoral laws and also in the constitution. If we do that, we are in safe hands.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And gentleman from the University of the Gambia, Pierce spoke about the gender strategy. It has been to cabinet twice, and I think we are now coming with the final reading to address only two concerns, the budget and also the legal framework. Yeah, with that, we are recommending 30% representation across the board. We are recommending affirmative action to be achieved in 10 years. So that way, we together we will bridge the gender gap and make sure that we have equal representation on boards, in management, and the list goes on. About the office where we are, we don't own the place. We don't like it either, because we are not happy at all. More especially because some of our staff are on wheelchairs. As a result of the condition of the office, we have to get them another place. So just assured, we have our own building. We have ramps as well as lifts, so that there will be easy access. And if you have the opportunity of looking at the disability bill, these are things that we are addressing in the disability bill, and implementation is key. Anybody coming up with a new building for a public office or a public place, we should make sure that there are ramps and also there are lifts, which are concerned. We are the Ministry of Gender in charge of people with disability, and we should be seen taking the lead in that. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, to respond to that older gentleman from UTG, in regards to children not being disciplined, what is clear, even in the Act, is you can discipline your child, but not causing bodily harm to the child. This is where now the law will frown at you. Yeah? So we should try and do our best to discipline. It's our responsibility, each and every one of us, to discipline our children, so that at the end of the day, they will be better citizens. So we should not say because there is a law or because all these laws we domesticate them from international convention. Then you have the African Charter, which of course talks about the responsibility of the child. Yeah, because as Africans, as we also have responsibilities, so we cannot take everything from the West and then implement them. So that's why we should try our best to discipline, just not to cause any bodily harm when we are disciplining our children. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me just come in there, because I think to discipline your child is not only by beating, but also to respect rules and regulations. You know, when the individual knows the procedures, how to respect rules and regulations, that is the way of disciplining someone, not only, you know, beating or smacking the person. That is one of. Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Minister and team, for your brilliant insight. The audience, thank you very much for the valuable contribution, the media, all of you. We come to the end of this program, and good night. We can have our pictures here. Thank you.